Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to dive into literally the absolute destruction of the classical concept of space. Seriously, we're looking at a fascinating research report by Bimal Chandra Dan that traces a 60 years scientific journey, ultimately proving something completely mind-bending, that the universe is actually a single, irreducible whole.
Okay, let's jump right in with a massive hook. You know that everyday intuition we all have? The one where space is just this inert backdrop, like an empty stage holding separate, independent objects? Well, modern physics has completely dismantled that, literally torn it apart. Our entire operating system for reality is built on this container idea. But as you're going to see, it's fundamentally flawed.
To really get what's at stake here, we need to talk about separability. It's a supernatural assumption to make, right? The report gives a fantastic analogy. Imagine you've got a jar of water on a table in Patna, India, and another jar on a table in Paris. Obviously, they should possess their own distinct physical states. They've got their own temperatures, their own densities, completely separate from one another. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing about the Paris jar depends on the Patna jar. That right there, that is classical physics in a nutshell.
Section 1. Einstein's Spooky Challenge. Now, this comforting, totally intuitive picture of separability, it faced a massive challenge. And this brings us to a legendary scientific conflict that kicked off in 1935 with Albert Einstein, Boris Podolsky, and Nathan Rosen.
So Einstein was deeply uncomfortable with the implications of quantum mechanics. He famously and kind of hilariously referred to it as spooky action at a distance. And honestly, it is incredibly ironic. The very man who literally rewrote the rules of space and time was absolutely disgusted by the idea that measuring one entangled particle could instantaneously determine the state of another one far away. Why? Because to him, it seemed to completely violate the speed of light limit set by his very own theory of relativity. No way could he accept that. The logic of their famous 1935 EPR paper was actually pretty straightforward. Step 1, prepare entangled particles. Step 2, separate them by vast distances. And Step 3, measure one to instantly determine the other. Einstein reasoned that because they're so far apart, so far that no light speed signal could possibly connect them, measuring particle A couldn't physically disturb particle B. Therefore, particle B must have already had those properties all along. Makes sense, right? So Einstein concluded quantum mechanics had to be incomplete. He figured there must be local hidden variables, basically secret instructions hidden inside the particles, that bypass this spooky instantaneous connection entirely.
Section 2. The 50-year quest. For decades, this whole thing was really just a philosophical debate about how to interpret reality. Well, that was until a theorist named John Bell completely changed the game in 1964.
Enter this super elegant mathematical formula, Bell's theorem. Absolute game changer. Bell realized that if Einstein was right, if the universe actually is classical, local, and running on those hidden variables, the statistical correlations between separated particles could never, ever exceed a hard mathematical limit of 2. But quantum mechanics? It predicted those correlations would absolutely breach that limit, hitting roughly 2.83. So Bell essentially took this abstract philosophical argument and turned it into a highly rigorous, testable math problem.
So the crucial next step was actually testing this in the real world. And over the next 5 decades, experimentalists went to absolutely painstaking efforts to close every single possible loophole that a classical universe could use to kind of fake these quantum results. They had to close the locality loophole by making sure no sublight signals could sneak between detectors. They had to close the detection loophole by building these incredibly hyper-efficient sensors. They even tackled the freedom of choice loophole by doing something straight out of a sci-fi movie. They literally used the light from distant quasars, light emitted billions of years ago, to choose their random measurement settings. That ensured the particles couldn't have secretly coordinated in advance. I mean, how cool is that?
What happened next was basically a generational relay race spanning over 50 years to finally prove Einstein wrong. It started with early tests back in 1972 by Friedman and Clauser, moved to Elaine Aspect's crazy fast switches in the 80s, and went all the way to 2015. In 2015, 3 independent teams, in Delft, at NIST in Boulder, and in Vienna, finally performed loophole-free tests, completely closing the major gaps all at once. This monumental, decades-long effort eventually culminated in the 2022 Nobel Prize in Physics for Aspect, Clauser, and Anton Zeilinger.
Section 3. The Non-Locality Nightmare. And this brings us to the dramatic climax of our explainer today. The experimental verdict is in, folks, and it forces a profound reckoning. Local realism is dead, like mathematically and experimentally dead to a very high degree of confidence.
But hold on. We need to carefully bust a major pop science myth right here. What this does not license is faster-than-light communication. You absolutely cannot use quantum entanglement to send a usable message across the galaxy instantly. Einstein's speed limit for signaling? Yeah, that remains perfectly intact. But what is firmly established, however, is the complete failure of separability. The assumption that distant systems have their own independent states is just undeniably wrong. And this brilliantly illustrates the core truth of the whole thing. It's not some magical signal jumping across empty space from particle A to particle B. Actually, the absolute sharpest way to state it is that there was never an A and a B to begin with. Let that sink in. At the deepest level of reality, it's a single, irreducible physical fact that just happens to have two spatially separated measurement outcomes. Mind-blowing, right?
Section 4. Rethinking the quantum container. So, if our container picture of space, where separate objects live in separate, neat little locations, is fundamentally flawed, we've got to ask a critical question. What actually makes up the universe?
Well, physicists have proposed rival interpretations to accommodate these really uncomfortable facts. And get this, every single viable one demands that we sacrifice a deeply held classical intuition. The Copenhagen interpretation, it gives up realism. Bohmian mechanics, it explicitly gives up locality, positing this non-local guiding wave. And the many worlds interpretation gives up single-outcome realism, suggesting reality is constantly branching. The one thing you absolutely cannot do anymore is keep all of your classical assumptions intact. Something's got to give.
One of the most radical responses to this is a holographic approach, summed up by a simple equation, ER equals EPR. This theory essentially suggests that Einstein-Rosen bridges, which, by the way, are wormholes, and Einstein-Podolsky-Rosen quantum entanglement are literally the exact same thing, meaning space itself is entirely downgraded from a fundamental container to something that's actually built out of quantum entanglement. In this view, spatial distance isn't even a fundamental reality. It's an emergent property. It's like a web woven out of the entanglement of lower dimensional degrees of freedom.
Section 5. An ancient parallel. Let's make our final conceptual leap and see how this cutting-edge physics deeply, deeply mirrors ancient philosophy. We're shifting gears from a physics mystery straight into an ontological thriller.
The source report draws this fascinating structural resonance with the 8th century Indian philosophical doctrine of Advaita Vedanta. Advaita basically proposes two levels of reality. First, there's Māyā, which is the manifest, provisional world of separate names and forms, like independent objects in space. But beneath all that is Brahman, a single, undivided, attributeless ground of being. The structural resonance here is just crystal clear. Look, in our everyday life, the illusion of separability functions perfectly. It's just like this famous Vedantic analogy where a person mistakes a rope for a snake in dim light. The fear they feel is real, the reaction is totally real. The apparent two-ness of the universe works for us on a practical level. But, just as Bell's theorem and those Nobel-winning experiments proved, when you really investigate at the absolute deepest physical level, the universe simply refuses to decompose into separate parts. The underlying fact is one. The whole shebang is connected.
Now, the report makes it super clear it isn't claiming physics somehow proves mysticism, but it definitely offers a really powerful vocabulary for a universe that just isn't made of isolated pieces. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative question to ponder. Is this ancient resonance a genuine clue to the ultimate structure of reality, or is it just a suggestive parallel? Think about that the next time you look at the seemingly empty space separating you from the walls of the room you're sitting in right now. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.